the currency.
In other words, the central bank do its due diligence in investigating and having evidence to say that our currencies are being counterfeited?
Yeah, if you have a slight indication like that, but the central bank has not said that. Central bank said they want the security features to be enhanced. They want the visually impaired to be able to feel the texture of the currency and be able to differentiate which one is 100 naira or 500 naira.
Okay.
You know, these are brilliant arguments, and the fact that we want to put our Amazons on our notes, I like that, and every Nigerian should embrace that. But cost and timing must be put on the table. Somebody said CBN spent 47 billion naira last year printing. We have the figure. This one that we want to do now, we don't have the figure.
We have the figure, it's 42.
Oh, it's been confirmed?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
No, but let's go back. I think it's important, just because it's generated so much controversy, to clarify certain things. Total money supply in Nigeria is 14 trillion naira. Okay? For a GDP that produces goods worth $270 billion. Okay? It is that equation that determines what the average price level. The price level in Nigeria is 12.8% year-on-year inflation. Okay? Now, what you are doing, you are not withdrawing any currency, you are introducing a new denomination. Why are you doing this? You are doing this to improve and actually increase the settlement, the efficiency of settlement of transactions. A trader, you can either pay the trader with 5,000 naira note, pay him with 1,000 naira note, pay him with 500 naira note. You can pay him by POS, by credit card. You can pay him by checks. And we reduced the limit on checks from whatever it is to 10 million.
I need to just draw your attention, gentlemen, to this. I was just looking at an editorial, looking at what they said about comparing our country to other countries of the world, saying that the central bank governor did not say, while it was trying to bring best practice, national best practice to our own economy, failed to say that this country, Singapore, Germany, and Japan, which have high denominations, they are highly industrialized, export-oriented economies, and with gross domestic product of $239 billion for Singapore. For Germany, it's at $3.57 trillion. For Japan, $5.87 trillion. And we're comparing this with Nigeria that has $235.9 billion. Perhaps, looking at these figures, does it justify the actions of the central bank? Because in an economy like the U.S., which the highest denomination is $1,000, and we are trying to bring 5,000 naira notes, even if the value may not be the same, does it justify this action?
That editorial stops short of what is important. You have $260 billion, which is the correct figure for Nigeria, divided by 167 million people. What is the income per capita in this? In Singapore, it's a one-city nation. The total population in Singapore is probably 4 million people, and you're dividing that economy of $200 and something billion. The income per capita in Singapore is over maybe $40,000, while ours is $1,500. So you're saying a man who has $1,500, you're giving him, I just told you now that if we are to print only 5,000 naira notes, every Nigerian will have one note in his pocket.
Okay.
Right? So you cannot reduce the economy to a one-note economy. But that is not, the issue is that can transactions be settled efficiently? There's what we call the Fisher equation in money supply, which is money supply multiplied by the velocity of circulation gives you the price level multiplied by the transaction volume. So money supply is important. That's why I said you take the 14 trillion. The velocity of circulation, we are settling transactions much faster because the currency is of higher denomination. There are more options of currencies available. You have the point of sale terminals. You have cashless economy. So money is turned around so many times. If you turn around this 1.6 trillion naira we have in circulation, turn around 10 times, this is what you get. Now we are going to be turning around maybe about 24 or 30 times a year. So the number of transactions that we have, and you get your money in time, you go and buy new goods and you sell it again. Export orientation, all of these things have to do with the external value of the naira value.
Really, if you look at, maybe Wale should just come in at this point in time, external value in terms of what it can buy outside of this country. But Wale, let me just ask you, I just wanted to just take you back a little bit to when we printed the 500 naira notes. That was done in 2002. We also printed the 1,000 naira note in 2005. How would you compare the situation at that time when these new denominations at that time were introduced?
Yeah, people were concerned the way they are concerned now. They wanted to know whether it will be inflationary or not. But like we said, it does not affect the value of the currency. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not even an argument we should be having. What is important at this stage is that I wish we didn't have this distraction, really, because the central bank is already implementing a very smart program of cashless economy, and I thought we would be deepening that tendency.
It seems people are more aware of macroeconomic issues now.
We have not even expanded.
Any news that comes from that region, it's always
No, I know.
debated.
I'm saying we have not even extended the cashless to every nook and crannies of Nigeria. That should have been our priority.
In other words, the central bank should have gone ahead to go nationwide in terms of the cashless policy before.
Which is happening in January.
Before having to introduce,
reviewing
the currency itself.
Absolutely. Yeah. But Lagos is the easiest market for them to roll out cashless. By the time we go out of Lagos, I will begin to see these challenges. I would have preferred every money we have now, we are putting it in that initiative and making it to become more attractive to Nigerians. You see, for me, the issue of printing this currency, I don't think there's any need for it. You know why? We don't have a currency crisis as we speak, and we don't have a situation of hyperinflation. Those would have been the major justification. But I respect the CBN's position that, look, people are trying to blackmail us by patenting their ink and making us to patronize them anytime we want to print our currency.
I don't know if Bismark wants to agree with what you've just said.
No, it's the central bank governor that said it himself, and that is a valid argument. Yes. It's a nationalistic stand. Yeah.
All right, the issue of hyperinflation does not come in here. Before we start replaying what happened in Zimbabwe, where they had to jettison their own currency and begin to use US dollars.
Zimbabwe, Argentina, Brazil, they've had all these situations before. But let me make a point. The point is this, that why are people interested or having extra interest in this issue? The reality is that we introduced 500, 1,000, 100 and all of that. It didn't generate as much debate. People, like you said, people are more aware of their economic rights. 1. 2. But the reality is that the Nigerians are more, what I would call, more angry and more miserable today than they were 5 years ago. The misery index shows that it has gone to 40%, as against it was about 32%.
That's actually creating this kind of reaction.
Right, and therefore, are they angry or are they miserable because of the denominations, or are they angry and miserable because they don't have enough money? If you don't have, even if you have 1,000 naira and they give it to you in 100 naira notes and all that, doesn't, what you want, if what you require and what you need is 2,000 naira, your anger is about how you can move from 1,000 naira to 2,000 naira, not about how many notes are in the 1,000 naira. So the real issue is that why are people angry and why are people miserable? They are miserable because of inflation and because of unemployment. That's how you compute the misery index. So because they're angry, anything that happens, they will debate it. The tanker drivers are debating the currency denomination.
Everybody's debating.
Right, because they're angry. And let us stop talking about the currency. Let's talk about why are they miserable and why are they angry.
All right.
And therefore address those issues.